Hello? Hello, is there anybody there? Hopefully there is. We had some technical difficulties today, and I'm hoping that this will be working. Can anyone see me? Can anyone hear me? I hope so. Is anybody there? Um, is anybody there? I'm just checking. Is anyone there? Hello? Anybody there? My name's Carl. I'm hopefully live on the TEFL.org website. Facebook page through their website, and I'm hoping that there will be somebody there, but I can't see anybody coming up. Oh no, any sort of hello, but there are people there. Hello, 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 hello. Good to see you, good to hear you. I hope everybody said hello. Swati, hello. Alan, hello. Marcello, hello. We're 20 minutes late, but that was because I was on another page and I wasn't sure whether that was working, and it turns out it wasn't broadcasting. So hello everybody, my name's Carl. I hope you're well this Friday lunchtime. I don't know, the people that are there, were you watching my video before, or is this the first time you've seen my big bald head today so far? I don't know whether it is, but anyway, I'm here. My name's Carl, and I'm here to talk to you about teaching in Southeast Asia. So, who am I? Well, my name's Carl. I'm one of the classroom tutors here at TEFL.org. I run the courses in Northern Ireland. So if you're in Northern Ireland and you're looking to do a weekend course, hopefully at some point you will see me, hopefully soon, giving you the weekend courses. I have been teaching for sort of 15 and a bit years in various countries around the world, such as South Africa, Japan, Vietnam, China, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan. Did I say Kazakhstan? Maybe I did. Sri Lanka, I was there for a bit. Now I work as a teacher trainer here in Northern Ireland. I also work as an examiner and as an online teacher for some of my own students, but also as for a university. So if you're there, please say hello. I can see some hellos. Thank you for telling me this is the first time you see me. Okay, great. That's good. Hello, everyone. So it sounds like none of you were watching me blab on for the previous 20 minutes, which was interesting. So you would have had such wisdom. I would have said such amazing things. So thank you very much, everybody, for saying that you're there. Thank you for joining us. Please just tell me where you are in the world, and also please tell me where you are in terms of your TEFL life. Are you looking to start teaching TEFL? Have you been teaching for a bit? Are you thinking of teaching online, or are you thinking of moving, or in your own country? What is it that you have any questions about? So Southeast Asia is basically around here where my finger is. Hopefully you can see it. We're talking about countries such as Vietnam. We're talking about countries such as Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia. All of these sort of countries come under the branch of Southeast Asia. It's a region that I know really well because I lived in Vietnam for approaching 18 months. I worked at a university there, and I used that as a base to travel around a lot and see other parts of Southeast Asia. So, for example, there are a couple of budget airlines. I mean, at the moment it's a bit difficult, obviously, with COVID, but there's a couple of budget airlines that work in Southeast Asia that allow you to sort of use one place as a hub and sort of move around a bit. So my first tip of, if you're thinking about living in Southeast Asia, is that you're probably going to be based in one city, and probably a city, because most of the jobs that you see advertised are in the cities. But you can use that as a base to see big chunks of Southeast Asia. So just like you might do in Europe, you know, you can get these quite cheap budget airline flights. You can get similar things in Southeast Asia. So don't think that just because you're in one city, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Ho Chi Minh City, whatever it is, just because you're in that, you're not going to get to see big chunks. You really are, because it's relatively cheap place to sort of travel around, and even for things like flights. Okay, so hello, thank you for the questions. I'm going to come around to the questions in a second. Okay, going to come around to the questions, so keep the questions coming in and I'll definitely answer them a bit. So first tip is for Southeast Asia is that don't think just because you've got a job in one place it's going to sort of limit you a bit. There's lots of different places that you can go. There's big regions. I managed to get sort of under £100 flights across to Indonesia, down to Singapore from Ho Chi Minh City, across to Bangkok, all that kind of thing. There's also, if you're on sort of the main chunk of land, you know, you can get quite cheap bus tickets to take you across the borders or to take you down Thailand, whatever it might be. So it's a great region if you want to see other parts, other countries as well while you're there. That's the first thing that I would start to think about. Okay, so let me just get started with some of these questions that are coming in. Thank you everybody for all your comments. Someone from Vietnam used to study at TEFL. Nguyen, I hope you can chip in about how great Vietnam is. It's a fantastic place to live in. And Audrey, you're in Indonesia. Lovely, lovely country. Indonesia is somewhere that is really sort of underappreciated, I think. Like that people don't think about going to, people from, you know, Western Europe or whoever they are, like English speaking countries that are learning to teach TEFL, they don't think about going to Indonesia, and it is a great place to go. That's especially growing as well, the market out there. Okay. Hello, Jenny. You're thinking of going to China. Lovely. Okay. Really, I've spent a good chunk of time in China. I wasn't going to talk too much about China. We did do a special on China a few weeks ago, but lots of work obviously in China. China very varied from the north down to the tropical south, all that kind of thing. So you can really get whatever sort of weather and every sort of ecosystem that you're looking for in China, which is fantastic. Swati, hello. What about ESOL qualifications? That's an interesting one. So here at TEFL.org, we offer Teaching English as a Foreign Language certification. And once you've got that certification, it will allow you to basically go and teach anywhere where it is accepted. So, and the reason why it's called Teaching English as a Foreign Language, TEFL, is because that is generally for people that are wanting to learn English, but they're not in an English speaking country. So for example, when I went to Japan, China, Kazakhstan, Sri Lanka, wherever it might be, I was a TEFL teacher. I was teaching people in those countries that wanted to learn English, TEFL. Okay, and that is still the majority of English teaching, is for people that are you teach people that aren't in your own country. However, there is a market for teaching English to people that are in an English speaking country. So for example, I live in Northern Ireland. I have done some ESOL teaching, ESOL, English as a second or other language, and these the type of lessons you do, the type of qualifications you got are similar. Okay, there's not really a specialized ESOL qualification. What there is modules that you can add on to a TEFL, a broad 120-hour TEFL course to help you teach those people that are in the country. And if you're in the UK or you're in Australia or you're in America or Canada, and you're teaching people such as refugees, immigrants, English for those countries, you are going to find yourself as an ESOL teacher. Okay, so that's the difference. Is there a special type of qualification for it? No. What you might need to do is lower the level that you're teaching. Very often ESOL teaching, ESOL teaching, is quite low level. You're teaching things like simple vocabulary. You're teaching like writing. You're teaching things like filling in forms instead of writing long emails, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's what it's. That's somewhere you need to. That's the difference between ESOL and TEFL. Okay, so Swati, you're working at the Helping Hands of London. That's fantastic. I hope you're really enjoying doing that. Marcelo, you're from Argentina. Hello. Really interested in studying phonetics and intonation. Wow, that's an interesting part of linguistics to learn about. So obviously studying something is interesting. So for those of you that aren't sure, phonetics are the sounds within a language. So you, for example, if you, let's think of a word, cup. Okay, I've got myself a cup here. The first sound of it is a strong k sound. Then there's the sound, and then the p. Put them all together, cup. That's phonetics, okay? And there is a phonetic alphabet for, I think it's about 99% of all the languages that are out there, especially the main ones that the people are speaking, okay? So that means just like you'd have the A, B, C, D written language, you also can get a phonetic language alphabet for languages, okay? So that's phonetics. And the phonetic sounds in English might be different from the phonetic sounds in Chinese or Japanese, for example. There are also some crossovers, but that's what you find. Intonation is about going up and down, up and down, up and down. So when you ask a question, you say, would you like a cup of tea? Your voice goes up at the end. You go, no thanks. Your voice goes down. That's the sort of thing about intonation. Some languages are rhythm languages. So let me help you. So, can I have a cup of tea tonight? You stress certain sounds. That's also part of intonation. Whereas some languages do not have, some languages are tonal languages, and they don't really have they have the intonation within a sound instead of within a sentence. Really interesting. I hope you enjoy it, Marcelo. If you could study that and you could get hold of it, then that's the sort of thing that you could teach really well. Swati, yes, you can teach English as a foreign language. If you're currently teaching ESOL in the UK, you can teach TEFL abroad as well. There is, if you have a PGCE in ESOL, what you might need to do, Swati, is to add on a TEFL qualification. So 105-hour TEFL qualification, and then that will then allow you to teach abroad somewhere else. You really, there's so many similarities. You can definitely teach the two of them, okay? But think about the jobs that you're going for. If you see a job that you want, look at the requirements that they have. You've got a PGC, I'm sure they'll help you. Aaron, hello. Aaron McAleer, hello. You're from Northern Ireland. I'm in Northern Ireland at the moment. I'm in Bangor. You're currently working through your TEFL, but you don't have a degree. Does everywhere in Southeast Asia require a degree to work, or is there an alternative to a degree? An alternative to not having a degree. Okay, so yes, there are parts of Southeast Asia where you can go and work. So for I'm gonna whack Japan in there as well, because you can get the working holiday visa for Japan, and if you get your working holiday visa for Japan, they don't really care so much about whether you've got a degree or not. Okay, so that's something that you might want to think about, Aaron. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Maybe going to Japan as well and getting yourself the working holiday visa, because that can help you about Japan without a degree. Right. It is correct to say that Southeast Asia generally wants people to have a degree in order to get a work visa. But that doesn't stop people, in my experience. And you've got to be a bit careful about sort of what you think about here, about what I'm about to say, Aaron. In terms of, you could get volunteer work, and well, no, this bit's not so dodgy, but you get volunteer work quite often in Southeast Asia. So that would be unpaid teaching, but they would pay you things like your food, and they'll pay you, quite often they pay things like your flights, and they'll pay for your accommodation. So there's that kind of thing. The other thing you can do, and this does depend on sort of how risky in life you sort of see yourself, is you could go out there and go out there on a tourist visa, and then you try and find work when you're there. Now, the problem with doing that is you're not guaranteed to necessarily get work. Okay, so for example, I know quite a lot of people who have done that in Cambodia. Okay, the more sort of developed countries, they tend to really not want. They tend to want people with degrees, and they tend to sort of not take on people that are there unless they've got a degree or that kind of thing. But if I was you, Aaron, I would think a little bit off the beaten track. So maybe you're not going to be able to find work without a degree necessarily so much in Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur, the big cities. But if you if you think, where can I go that's a little bit off the beaten track a little bit, Thailand has lots of lovely cities you can go work in. You could email some schools, do a Google search, Google EFL schools in whatever city it is, Chiang Mai, for example. See if you can find some work, contact them, and then see if you can get some work there. Or if you've got a bit of cash, you can go out there yourself and try and find work when you're there. Not necessarily guaranteed though, Aaron, okay? But I would definitely go for TEFL. I would definitely go for someone like Cambodia and think about that. That's probably your best bet out there, okay? Shiam, hello. You're from South Africa, Cape Town. I spent a good bit of time in Rondebosch. Love that place. You did early childhood development. You finished level 4 and 5, graduating soon, will have a diploma. Great. I think that you're going to hopefully get yourself some good work there, Shiam. Okay. I think, you've got a great CV there, and I hope it will really work out for you. Hello, Lewis. Has COVID had an impact on TEFL placements? And is it something I should be worrying about when planning for the future? Right, Lewis. So, obviously COVID has affected the world quite a lot. Okay. So China, a big chunk of China is COVID free. They are taking on people there. They are recruiting people there. They are, I've seen lots of adverts. And I even know some people that were on my weekend courses sort of at the start of March that have sort of ended up out there quite recently. So they're definitely advertising, and there's definitely work out there. I've also, Vietnam for big chunks of time was COVID free. They were still advertising. They were still getting people out there. Now, Lewis, when you go over there, you might have to quarantine. That's the first thing. They might make you take a test, all that kind of thing. So you've obviously got to be a bit aware of that when you first get there. You might be locked into your apartment for 2 whole weeks. Take loads of DVDs. Make sure your laptop is full of films. Take a load of books. Get yourself settled down, because you're going to be in for the long haul for a couple of weeks in your apartment. So I've heard stories of that kind of thing. All right. Your school will be able to help you that you get the job with. So go on our TEFL.org job pages. You'll see jobs advertised there. Go for it. They will help you with the whole COVID thing. Okay. Trust me, if they're a good employer, they will sort of mention it and they will tell you what they're going to do. If they're not, ask them. Is someone going to pick me up from the airport? Am I going to be taking there? Where am I going to be staying? Where am I going to be living? Will you help me get food delivered? All that kind of thing. Blah, 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 blah. Get that in some emails. That sort of people sort of hold themselves to it. Other thing you need to be aware of, obviously, because it's obviously difficult if, health-wise, is your health insurance. Make sure that your health insurance is up to scratch, and make sure that your health insurance is going to cover you for COVID. So, Southeast Asia has some pretty good healthcare systems. Find out what the insurance is you're going to be getting. If they're not going to give you any insurance, your school, make sure you find out yourself about the local systems. How is it working? All that kind of thing. How much will it cost you if something happens? Okay. Also think about what will happen if you do get sick and have to fly back. Who's going to cover that kind of cost? All that kind of thing. All right. Lewis, hello. So you're thinking of South Korea. Okay, so Lewis, again, you're saying, what are the options for my partner coming with me to Southeast Asia if she is not teaching? How would the visa work? Thinking specifically about South Korea. It's a lovely question. Just a quick thing. Quite often you'll see Korean jobs advertised in the East Asia section of job websites instead of the Southeast Asia. So if it is somewhere like Korea that you're thinking about, just go for it. Right. Okay. Right, the partner thing, if they don't want to teach, is quite an interesting thing, quite an interesting aspect of teaching that I've come across quite often. The first thing that I would say to you, Lewis, is what is your partner going to do when you're teaching? All right. So I know quite a few people that have gone abroad with a non-teaching partner, and they've got there and the teacher will think, oh, I'll be all right. I'll fill up my time. But actually, what can they do? Unless they speak the local language, it's quite difficult for a non-teaching partner to find work wherever it is. Japan, Azerbaijan that I've lived in, it's quite, because you've got to be able to prove that, you've got to be able to do a job. You're going up against locals, and if everything's going to be in the local language, what are they going to do? So, make sure they're very aware of what they're going to be doing while you're away for maybe 10 hours a day. All right. Then if they're happy with whatever, if they've, oh no, don't worry, they'll be fine. I'm a writer, or I've got a business that I can run, whatever it might be, fine. Your school will then be able to get them in on a partner, as a partner on your working visa. Okay, easy thing to do. People do that all the time, but it's not going to be a problem at all. The visa, you would apply for your working visa. The school will then sort you out with a spouse add-on or a partner add-on to that visa. Now, if they want to work there, then the school will probably have to sponsor their work visa as well. Are they likely to sponsor their work visa if they're not teaching? I doubt it. But once your partner's there, they might be able to find some work and get someone to sponsor them. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Hello, Audrey. As a non-native English speaker, which age level to teach is best to start teaching? I don't think that makes any difference whether you're a non-native English speaker at all in the types of teaching you're doing. Okay. So, Audrey, there's plenty of work out there as a non-native English speaker. Okay. And I think, first of all, think about, what do you want to teach? Do you want to teach kids or do you want to teach adults? The more open you are to teaching different age ranges, the more opportunities there are for work. So don't limit yourself to certain age ranges. Okay. So I don't think that actually it makes any difference as a non-native English speaker what levels you're going to teach. Okay. What age level you're going to teach. Just think about, find a job that you like the look of, apply for it, go for it. Okay. Shyam, hello. Do I still have to do the TEFL course to teach abroad? Interesting point there, Shyam. So, if you are, I would say the short answer is yes. You need to have some sort of teaching English as a foreign language qualification in order to go teach abroad. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head of any jobs I've ever seen where any teaching English jobs where they don't want you to have a TEFL and teaching English as a foreign language course like one of ours, the 120-hour course. Now, I don't think there's any, I've never seen any adverts that I can remember where they just want a native speaker or a person to come and teach. The requirements are often TEFL certificate and then maybe a degree as well, depending on what they want. So I would say, yes, if you want to go abroad and teach English, you do have to have some sort of course in order to apply for the jobs. I think, like, in terms of the work visa, legally, you don't need to have the TEFL course. I think it just depends on the country what their requirements are. I don't think there's anything about special having a TEFL certificate in order to get the visa, but you will definitely need it, I would have thought, to have got the job in order to have got the visa, if that makes sense. Shiam, hello. Joanne, hello. You have an English literature degree and you're thinking about teaching English as a foreign language online. Lovely. Aiming to work part-time, hopefully 10 hours in the evenings or on weekends. What TEFL course do you recommend and what kind of online teaching opportunities are there? You have previously travelled and worked in South China as an au pair, so I have an experience teaching English to Chinese children informally as well. Wow, okay, I think you're going to be a shoo-in. So, right, Joanne, what TEFL course do I recommend? So I recommend that you do the 120-hour course. Okay, so basically when you look at jobs, you'll see jobs advertised that want a TEFL certificate, and it usually has a certain number of hours next to it that you have studied online for. So I recommend that you look at the sort of jobs that you want to teach online and match them up to a course such as ours, which is, and then you go and study online. You do all the online learning and that kind of thing, and then maybe you'll do a practical element afterwards if you feel like you need it. So definitely go for something like a 120-hour course. Okay, all right. Now be careful; it's got to be an accredited course. So, for example, here at TEFL.org, we pay companies that have nothing to do with us. Okay, they're not owned by us. They're not any sort of links to us to come and check people out like me, to check out the materials that we give in, making sure that everything's okay. And then they give us an accreditation stamp, which you can see on our website, to show that our courses are good. Why is that important? Because they the TEFL, the companies, when they advertise, they want an accredited course. So make sure whatever course you're going for is accredited. Okay. Then once you've got that certification, you can then apply for jobs, and you'll see quite a lot of jobs advertised to teach English online to Chinese children. So, for example, on our job site, on our website, there are companies that advertise in there and recruit, and they would take on people with our certification. You go there, you have some sort of interview, you do some sort of trial lesson, then within a week or so, maybe you're going to be teaching Chinese kids online. And the fact that you've worked there and you've taught there as well, they'll love you. You put that down on your CV and you just go for it, and you'll find that there's lots of opportunities out there to teach that kind of thing. All right, good. Owen, hello. You're doing your classroom part next weekend. You're excited, a bit anxious, right? It's a great weekend. I really miss teaching them, Owen. So unfortunately in the UK at the moment, well, Northern Ireland at the moment, we can't run them. If you are, however, thinking of, you want to do the practical part of it as well, and this goes back to you as well, Joanne, if you're thinking about going that, we do special add-ons for people that maybe can't get to a classroom weekend course at the moment. So, for example, we do a virtual weekend course. That's really great. We're getting lots of great feedback on that kind of thing, and that counts as an online practical part of it. And we also do extra modules that you can tag onto the 120-hour course in online teaching as well, which can really help you out with that kind of thing. All right, good. I'm glad that helped you out, Joanne. Thank you. Rania, hello. How long does a TEFL take? You're working, so our online lectures will be after work after 5 my time in Egypt. Rania, okay, Rania. The online course is for you to watch at will at your own time. So the main 120-hour theory course is the videos and that kind of thing. You can watch at any time. So you can watch in the morning, you can watch in the evening, you can watch in your lunch break. They're there on. You get a login, you log yourself in, you watch the videos, you do the activities, all that kind of thing. So you can watch them any time. The online weekend courses that we offer, they are on a Saturday and Sunday, and they're based from about 9 in the morning UK time. So it's not that dissimilar from Egypt. I think, are you 2 hours ahead? I don't know. The clocks change in the UK this time. So if you're doing the TEFL course, it will take you as long as it will take you, basically. So, you know, some people, they have a few weeks off work and they dedicate themselves to it. They do it in 2 or 3 weeks. Other people, they can take them up to 6 months. Okay, so don't think it will be any sort of time. It's up to you, Rania, how long it will take, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. Stephanie, hello. I'm just gonna have a quick glass of water. How do I'm having a bit of trouble reading that one, Stephanie. Hello. Right, I think you're asking about, do we offer employment? I think that's your question, Stephanie. So no, basically we are a course provider. So we do, people come to us and they do our online course. They do our online course and then maybe do a weekend practical course, and they use that certification to then find work, to go work abroad, or to go work online. Basically, that's what we work. We don't really do employment placing, but we do have jobs that are advertised on our website. Okay. The contracts really do depend on the people giving you the work. Very often for Southeast Asia, they're at least yearly contracts, but you might find in Europe that they're termly contracts or even monthly contracts. Okay, good. Carmelina, hello. If I've completed the 120-hour course and want to teach young learners, would it be a good idea to do the young learners course as an add-on? Yeah, I really... Right, when I first started teaching, I didn't want to teach kids. You know, it was really my thing. I was like, no, I don't want to be around kids. But then I kind of realized that there are a lot more opportunities work-wise if you do teach kids. So I kind of went for it, and I really enjoyed that's what, at that point, I did a young learners add-on, and I really enjoyed it. I found it really beneficial. And they really, you know, teaching, the theory behind teaching kids isn't that different from teaching adults, but the way you might do that theory is different in terms of the amount of activities, in terms of the age ranges, all that kind of thing. So that kind of thing is really worth doing if you're going to be teaching young learners. It will also really help you to get jobs if you can show that you've got the young learner add-on. So Carmeline, if you're definitely going to think about teaching kids and that's something you want to do, then I would really recommend it. Okay. Stephanie, hello. Can anyone do your course in any country? Yes. Yep, you just get a login basically, and all over the world people do it, either the virtual, the online weekend courses, or the main one. Okay, good. Lewis, hello. If you're looking to experience a different culture and earn a bit of money, is TEFL the best option for Asia? Is it worth exploring teaching in an expat community within my subject special in chemistry, or are options very limited for this? Right. Lewis, I don't know whether you have a PGCE in chemistry. So very often in Asia, the best paid jobs are either at universities or the international schools where you would sort of teach GCSE or A level. And quite often for those international schools, if you're going to go teach chemistry or a subject specific, geography, history, whatever, they expect you to have a PGCE. If not, they want people to have a TEFL certificate. So yes, TEFL certificate is the best option. Lewis, I just want you to rein in a bit with that, earn a bit of money. Okay, you know, look, TEFL teachers are always just slightly above the average in terms of how much money, you know. South Asia, East Asia, you know, unless if you're going to just sort of stay in all the time and you're not going to sort of go on little holidays and your half-term breaks and that kind of thing, you can save money. But if you're going to be out experiencing the culture, you're not going to come back necessarily with a house deposit. Probably the best country for that is Japan or maybe South Korea. The reason being is because the wages are a bit higher and you can save a bit of money, that kind of thing when you're there. But, you know, somewhere like Thailand, you're not going to earn a huge amount of money. You're going to have money left over, but you're not going to earn a huge amount of money. So it's percentage-wise, you're not going to have a huge amount left. If you're chasing the money, probably the Middle East is the best one for you. Okay, good. I hope that opens your question. Rania, no problem. Neil, hello. Completed your 140-hour TEFL course last year. Now looking to make the move into TEFL teaching. No prior experience. I've been working in the travel industry for a while. Okay, good. I worked it's quite a common thing, Neil. I worked for STA Travel for a bit. It's quite a common thing for people to be into travel and then end up teaching. Best options for a first-time teacher. Well, I think basically, Neil, you know, think of a country where that you're happy with. If you've got a bit of travel experience about you, then, you know, think about, you know, I don't think that there's any sort of country that I would say is the best place for a new teacher. I think, you know, what you kind of want to look for is who do you feel like teaching, adults or kids? Narrow it down, where do you want to teach, that kind of thing, and start applying for jobs. All right, just go down that route. Okay, I don't think there's any sort of country. You know, look for jobs. Quite often some jobs advertise and say no experience required, no experience necessary, or that kind of thing. That might be the sort of job that you're going for. If you are also new to teaching, one of the questions you might want to ask in the interview is, are you going to provide the materials and are you going to provide the lesson plans? Because that could be something that you need. Okay, because obviously if you're experienced, you've sort of got some lesson plans up here. But if you're not experienced, you might need to spend a bit of time doing that. Okay, good. Age 40 is no age at all to go teaching in Southeast Asia at all. Age comes into a question for getting visas around about the age of 60, 65, I think it is. Okay, good. I can't see any more questions there. So I just wonder if could just talk a bit about Southeast Asia. Thank you for some of those questions. They were really, really good ones. Thank you. So what I would say about going to teach in Southeast Asia is it's brilliant. Okay, first of all, you know, I don't know anyone that went out there and didn't have a nice time, and it's, you know, it's very, very varied. You know, Singapore is this really expensive modern city. Kuala Lumpur's getting that way, but also has this sort of cultural edge to it. Bangkok is a big, massive city, but is just great fun. Also quite touristy, so it's quite well set up for people to go live in. You know, Vietnam rapidly changing. Same with Cambodia. Laos, you've got somewhere where there's it's a bit quieter, doesn't have as much money, so you know it's a bit sort of more relaxed maybe there. Indonesia is rapidly expanding, rapidly developing, that kind of thing. So somewhere like Jakarta is a great place to maybe go and work in a bit different, a bit off the track. There's also work in Philippines as well, in Manila. I know people that have worked there. So it's very, very varied. One thing you might want to take into consideration is the fact that you will probably be working evenings, and you'll probably be working weekends, unless you've got a job in an international school or a university. If you go and work for a local language school, that's when their big market is, and that's when you'll probably find yourself working. Why? Because adults like to have lessons after school, after they finish work. So they finish work at sort of 6-7 o'clock. They then try and find some English lessons. Kids, they're at school Monday to Friday, so their parents send their kids to have English lessons on a Saturday and a Sunday morning, lunchtime, that kind of thing. So you will find that, and quite often your weekends might be Monday or Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. So just something to be aware of. Okay, don't be massively put off by that. That could be something that happens. The other thing as well is, I find Southeast Asian students to be really good fun. They're up for a laugh. They tend to be, I mean, this is quite varied, because obviously there are some places where religion comes into it, but they tend to be quite sort of open to new things. They seem to be sort of generally quite culturally aware, that kind of thing. So they can be quite good fun to teach. All right. So if you are thinking of going to Southeast Asia, my just advice for you is to go for it. Okay. Try and get your qualifications sorted. Look for jobs on our website. Look on websites such as eslcafe.com. See what kind of jobs you might like the look of. Think about, if you're going to go to the big cities, make sure you look for things like accommodation and all that kind of thing. Health insurance. Are they going to pay for your flights? All that kind of thing. And just see if you can get yourself some work like that. Okay, good. Ben, hello. I'm just going to answer a couple of questions before I go. I was wondering if there are many jobs in working with businesses on the TEFL list, specifically in Indonesia. If not, how would you suggest I find any positions like this? So if you're looking to teach business English, Ben, I think is the question there. Right. Very often, you got a couple of options. If you want to go there yourself and go and live there, quite often the local language schools, a big chunk of their teaching is teaching businesses. So for example, when I lived in Vietnam, I had the school I worked for, I taught university subjects, but I also taught a bit of business English on the side. And what happened was, the owner, in my case the owner of the university, they went off and they found businesses, local businesses, and then they took a cut and then they paid you. All right. So very often, wherever you go and work in Southeast Asia, you'll probably be finding that you're teaching adults, teaching kids, and then you're teaching business English. Those are the three types of English, maybe a bit of academic English as well, depending on where you are. So you'll find that you'll probably naturally fall into business English, and you'll find that schools will want you to teach business English when you go there. If you specifically yourself want to teach business English, and for example, you want to go to Jakarta and teach business English, difficult from the UK or Australia, to be honest with you. I think the best thing would be to get yourself out there yourself, pay for it, and just go for it there. Okay. Difficult though, Ben. I think the best thing would be to get a general English job and then see if they can get you some business English when you're there. All right. Alua, hello. Is the current COVID situation likely to impact finding teaching jobs in countries such as Italy and Spain? Yeah, at the moment, Italy and Spain, as much as I love Italy and Spain, and it drives me crazy because usually I spend about a third to a half of my life working in Spain and Italy every year. Alua, it's tough. Italy and Spain at the moment, the schools aren't really recruiting. Yeah. Asia tends to be more careful than Asia tends to be more freer of COVID than Europe. Okay. Rania, hello. 2 more minutes. I have 16 years experience in teaching English for Egyptian kids, international school. Will TEFL be useful for me here or when I apply for a job abroad for non-native English speaking kids or adults abroad like Emirate or other? So you want to go from Egypt to go teach in Dubai, for example, Rania? If that's true, then yes, I think TEFL would really help you. Yeah, for sure, for going that. And there's also language schools such as the British Council in Cairo. They would want you to have some sort of TEFL qualification as well as all that lovely experience you've got. Okay, Audrey, a little point there. Be prepared for big traffic and street criminal, and be very careful with street food. All right, that's an interesting point, Audrey. I'm going to totally 100% counter that by some of the best food I've ever had has been street food. I tend to find that it's quite well cooked, and you know, some of the times I've fallen sick have been from eating in sort of mid-range restaurants. Okay, the traffic is crazy, but I love the traffic. Street criminal, right? I have been abroad of my life for about 15 years of my life. I'm 40 years old, so almost half my life I've been abroad. I've been mugged in 2 places. One was in South Africa, where I was in a place I shouldn't have been at a time I shouldn't have been, doing something I shouldn't have been doing at 2 a.m. Okay, I completely got held up at gunpoint, and I blame myself for that. The other time that I have been mugged or attacked was in London, my hometown. Never ever in all of this big beautiful world, apart from down there in South Africa, that I've had any problems with street criminals. So I would kind of end on that little note there. And if you want me to tell you the story about the time I was somewhere where I shouldn't have been doing something I shouldn't have been at a time I shouldn't have been doing, I'll do it at another time. Cheers guys, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry about the start, it was a bit chaotic. We're going to try and work that out the best we can. All right, for next week. Cheers guys, bye.